Hey everybody, it's Miss Hans here. We are going to be going over our math review from yesterday, so go ahead and grab that. Let's start with question number 1. It says, how many times greater is the digit 8 in 78,492 compared to the digit 8 in 683? So I've noticed that this question is asking us to focus on the digit 8, and we have two multi-digit numbers that we're comparing. So what I'm going to do, the strategy that we learned in class, is using our place value chart. So I'm just going to go ahead and write that down. So I have my ones place, my tens place, my hundreds place, my thousands place, my 10,000s place, and that's as far as I need to go. And I'm going to write the first number down, 78,492 compared to 683. I'm going to circle the digit 8 here and the digit 8 here. So I notice that we're going from our tens place all the way to the thousands place. So that's 2 places over. And I know that every time that I regroup, I'm getting 10 times greater. So this is 10 times 10, which is equal to 100 times greater. Go ahead and check your work now. Give yourself a check for right or make any revisions if you have to. Okay, we're moving right along to our area model question. We have 63 times 15. So we're going to decompose our 63 into 60 and 3. And we are going to decompose our 15 into 10 and 5. And I noticed that it makes more sense for me to write the 15 on the side here and the 63 up here based on the proportions of this area model. So I'm going to do 10 times 3. I'm going to find the area of each rectangle, which is equal to 30. 5 times 3, which is equal to 15. 10 times 60, which is equal to 600. And 5 times 60, 5 times 6 is 30, and then I'm adding a 0, 300. So here are our partial products. Now I'm just going to add them all up to find our final product. So 600, 300, 30, 15, and I'm going to add them all up. So I have 0, 0, 0, 5, 3 and 1 is 4, 6 plus 3 is 9. So I get 945 as my final answer. So go ahead and give yourself a check if you got 945 or make some revisions if you have to. Let's move along to our next question, and I'm just going to bring us closer so we can focus on that. Okay, here we are. I can see it much clearer. It says when a certain number is divided by 3, the answer is 130 with a remainder of 2. What is the number? So it's telling us a number is divided by 3. Okay, so I'm just going to put that here. A number, I'm going to put a question mark, divided by 3. The answer you get is 130 with a remainder of 2. So if I'm trying to find what this number is that I started with, my dividend, then I'm going to have to work backwards. I'm going to have to do the inverse operation. So I'm going to have to multiply. So I'm going to do 130 times 3. 3 times 0 gives me 0. 3 times 3 gives me 9. And 3 times 1 gives me 3. And now I'm going to add the remainder plus 2. And we get a final answer of 392. So go ahead and give yourself a check if you got that right or make any revisions if you need to. Alright guys, we are at our fraction question. It says, what fraction makes the following statement true? So we get 3/4 is less than this number here. So we're looking for a fraction that's more than 3/4. Okay, so let's look at our choices. I can tell that we can already eliminate A. A is a half. Okay, half of 4 is 2. 3/4 is more than a half. So this doesn't make any sense. We can eliminate that. I also notice that I can eliminate the last one, 5 out of 12, using my benchmark fractions. Half of 12 is 6. 5 out of 12 is less than a half. So a fraction that's more than a half cannot be less than a fraction that's less than a half. It just doesn't make any sense. So we're going to eliminate it. So we're left with these two. Okay, so we get 2/6 compared to 5/6. The same reason why I eliminated D could be a valid reason to eliminate B. Half of 6 is 3. This fraction is less than a half. A fraction less than a half can be bigger than a fraction more than a half. so you can eliminate that one. So already we can see that this is the answer, but we're just gonna make sure that we are correct. So 3 out of 4 compared to 5 out of 6. One of the strategies that I know other teachers have taught you guys, so I just want to make sure that I can follow up on that, is this butterfly method, which is basically the same thing that we're doing when we're finding equivalent fractions and we're multiplying these two denominators, for example 4 times 6 and 6 times 4 by the same denominator. So let's just go ahead and do 3 times 6 gives us 18 and 5 times 4 gives us 20. So I can see that 5/6 is more than 3/4, so that would be correct. Alright, so we're continuing right into our line plot question. I know that I mentioned this before, but based on our assessment, line plot is an area of need for us. So we're finding what is the difference between the longest and the shortest vegetable. So I noticed that the line plot's giving me these vegetables. I'm finding the difference, which means I'm subtracting. And I'm going to start by finding the longest vegetable. The longest vegetable is going to be the last X here. So that vegetable measures 11 out of 12 feet. So I'm just going to label that 11 out of 12. And now I'm going to find the shortest vegetable. A common error is finding the vegetable that has the least X's, the measurement that has the least X's, and that's not how we're finding the shortest vegetable. It is the first X that you see here, and that would be 3 out of 12. So we're doing 11 out of 12 minus 3 out of 12, which gives us 8 out of 12 feet. Label it with units, and there is our answer. Alright, let's move it right along to our last question. Mark all the lines of symmetry. We have an arrow here, so the line of symmetry would be right over here. You have one line of symmetry. Oh, I forgot to tell you guys, make sure that you're checking these right or make revisions if you need to. And go ahead and grab your POD and meet me back here because we're going to go over that now. We are going to continue with our area of need, which is this line plot again, like I mentioned before. And this POD says the line plot below shows the length of string Mario used for an art project. So it's showing me the strings that he used for the art project, and I'm noticing it says the title of the line plot is length of string. And I know every X represents one string, so I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 strings. Okay, great. Now let's take a look at the question. What is the total length of all the strings Mario used? Oh, so the total length, that means I have to add up all of these strings. So wait a second, do I have to add 0 and 1/8 and 2/8 and 3/8 and 4/8 and 5/8 and 6/8 and all of them? That doesn't seem right because I'm looking at 5/8 and there's 0 strings that measure that. I'm looking at 6/8 and there's 0 strings that measure that. So that can't be possible. I'm guessing I'm going to have to add everywhere where I see the X. So 1/8, 2/8, 3/8, 4/8, 7/8, and 1. That also doesn't make any sense because I'm noticing that 4/8 has 2 strings that measure that. And 7/8 has 2 strings that measure that. So I have to make sure that I include those twice when I'm adding all of these lengths up. Alright guys, I want you to give it a go and check back tomorrow and see if our answers match up. Good luck everybody!